Donnie and Dolly, the team is supported by ableauctions.ca. Closing your business? We can help.
Just ahead of Jim Burrow, a reminder that all guests on Thursday brought to you by Optic Foliar. As we bring in Jim Burrow, this is going to take a while, this resume here. Former Nebraska defensive back, also played in the NFL with the Packers, spent 5 years in the CFL, mostly with the Montreal Alouettes. He was an all-star defensive back up here, the father of Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow, who, of course, is on his way to Super Bowl 56. And Jim, well-respected coach at the high school and college level. I don't know if we have any time left as we bring in Jim Burrow. Jim, thanks for doing this. How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. Got some bad weather, but I'm safe and sound inside here, and thanks for having me on.
Oh, no problem at all. I'm just looking at your resume. Where would you be if football hadn't come along, Jim?
Well, that's a good question. I thought I was going to be a school administrator or principal, but to tell you the truth, once I played for Tom Osborne in Nebraska. You know, I admired him so much. That kind of got me in the coaching bug. And then Marv Levy at Montreal. So I had some good people that I was playing for that I really respected, and kind of led me into coaching.
So many proud moments for you as Joe's father. The list goes on and on. But can you put into words how proud you are of him to make it to the Super Bowl after a rookie season that included 4 wins and a knee injury?
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing. And his mom, Robin, and I are so proud that he overcame that injury. And he's overcome some other things, you know, the transfer and having to start all over at a new school. So very proud. I mean, it's hard for us to not be smiling these days. And we get to go to LA and watch again. That'll be our 21st game to go to this year. We broke our record. We went to 15 in the national championship year. So, just extremely proud, and not just on the field. He does a lot of good things off the field too, and we like the way he handles himself, and proud of that too.
I think I know the answer to this. I read an article recently on you and Joe, but Tom Brady just retired. In what ways is your son like Tom Brady?
Well, I think this. How competitive they are. I mean, Joe's so competitive in everything he does: ping pong, chess, video games, backyard football growing up, baseball, and I've read that Tom Brady's like that, and I think too from what I understand with Tom Brady, and I know I've seen it with Joe. You know, they have a innate leadership ability that really brings out the best in all their teammates, and I think that's a couple things that is the best I can see. They're a lot alike in that regards.
Jim, once a coach, always a coach. Are you able to coach Joe right now? Are you able to communicate with them in the hours or maybe the days before a game?
Well, his mom and I have a tradition. We each text him, and hers is more, good luck and a couple of mom things. Mine's a little more coaching points. Slide, don't take too many hits, protect the ball and things like that. But he's moved beyond me as far as all that. But I think he reads it. We're still waiting for our first response on game day going into the 21st game, but it just makes us feel better that we've communicated with him, even though he doesn't respond. But no, most of the time I don't. I may ask him once during the week, what they're doing on defense, but he's not that anxious to really talk football with his dad these days. But I try sometimes. It's funny.
Jim, let's go back to 5 years in the CFL for you. You won the Grey Cup with the Montreal Alouettes, 1977. The Ice Bowl with a guy you played with, a guy we know here, Wally Buono. Talk about that Ice Bowl game.
Well, I had gotten hurt and had shoulder surgery after, I think, the fourth or fifth game against Hamilton. And then I was available for that game, and Coach Levy ended up activating me. I was going to be the extra nickel back. We didn't really use the nickel much because we got out to such a big lead, but I was on all the special teams, and just a horrible day. And, you know, the staples in our shoes. So Tony Proudfoot went out, tried broomball shoes, tried regular cleats, and then he grabbed Red Batty, who's the equipment manager now for the Packers and has been for a long time. He was our student manager, so to speak, or game ball boy. I can't remember exactly. And he said he had Red shoot some staples in our shoes, and Tony went out and he came back in and he said, "Hey, we can stand up." And so we all the skill people had these kind of industrial staples, put into our shoes, and we would have beaten them anyway, but that didn't hurt our chances, I'm sure. And Wally was we played the same side. I was the right safety, and he was the right outside backer for most of my career. And Wally he's texted me every single victory of Joe in these playoffs, and so that's great. I got a text from Peter Della Riva, a former teammate of mine, Randy Rhino. It's just awesome to hear from all my CFL friends after Joe does well.
So I got to ask you, you're in Montreal in the 1970s. The Montreal Canadiens are winning Stanley Cups, the whole 9 yards. Did you ever become a hockey fan?
I did. I mean, you can't be in that CFL locker room in Montreal without all those guys, the Canadians, wanting to talk about it. I live right down from the Forum. Some of the hockey players actually lived in our apartment complex. I did go to a couple of practices and a couple of games, but that was the Guy Lafleur and Von Cornwallier and Larry Robinson and that whole group. So, we were all in awe of the Canadians because that's what the guys in our locker room talked about all the time. So I learned about the hockey, and we'd watch Hockey Night in Canada, maybe at a local tavern a lot with the guys and stuff. And we actually had a hockey team afterwards that I never stayed for, but they went around and played charity events, and they always wanted me to stay around and try to do that, and I didn't even know how to skate, so I chose not to do that.
Wally will tell you he dominated. Yeah. Hey, you mentioned a name.
I bet he did. Wally was a good athlete, for sure.
You mentioned a name a while ago, Jim, Marv Levy, who was the coach of those great Alouettes teams. Does he get, and went on to success in the NFL with Buffalo, certainly, does he get enough credit as a great football coach, one of the great coaches maybe of all time?
I don't think so. I mean, I was kind of helped out a little to put some interviews out there when we were trying to get him into the CFL Hall of Fame because he left after my first year, but he was responsible for getting me to Montreal and getting me in the CFL. And that run, and I know he didn't win the Super Bowl, but that run where they were in those consecutive Super Bowls, that may never be matched. And he was a great organizer. He loved special teams. He was just great that my first year, and I can see how and why he was successful. I think things didn't work out for the Chiefs for whatever reason, but he revived his career and his status as a great football coach with Buffalo, and he had a quarterback. That's always key, and so I actually called him up not too long ago. Got his. I forget how I got his number, and I think it was right after they eventually put him in the CFL Hall of Fame, and we had a good conversation, and of course he follows Joe, and he knew that I was Joe's dad. So that was fun.
One more, if you don't mind, Jim. This has been
I'm good.
just tremendous, by the way. Any advice for any parents out there who might have a special young athlete on their hands at any level and at any age?
Well, I would say if they want to play multiple sports, I'm a big advocate of that. Don't just pin your son into one sport unless that's what he chooses. I think there's all kind of different skills, whether it's hockey, baseball, basketball, soccer that can help you as a football player. And I think sometimes, like if you'd have asked me in the 8th grade for Joe to choose a sport for Joe and lock him into one, we would have chosen basketball because that's what we thought he was. So if I'd have said, "Hey Joe, I think we need to concentrate on just basketball," of course he would have done it. He wouldn't have liked it. But if I'd have said, "Hey, I think this is the way to go," then we'd have missed out on what we're experiencing now. So I'd say that's one thing, multiple sports, and if the young man or the girl or boy wants to do that, and then make it fun. I mean, let them have fun. Don't be one of those dads that puts too much pressure, or moms for that matter that puts too much pressure on them to do different things, practice and play too many games, and just let it be fun, and then it'll kind of play out the way you want it to.
So at what point did he focus on football, Jim?
Well, he was some people around the area think baseball was his best sport. He loved baseball.
Wow.
But he was playing the travel basketball team. Travel basketball, he was an all-state high school basketball player. And so Joe chose to give up baseball after his 8th grade year. And so he concentrated on basketball and football, and he played those two sports throughout high school. He missed baseball so much, he almost went back out for his senior year in baseball in the spring. I think that's probably one of his biggest regrets, that he didn't play baseball, especially that last year, because he was going to camps and he was having throw-in sessions with different people, and we cut out travel basketball, I think, also after his 8th grade year too, because it was just getting too much. But and it was about 9th grade that we figured out, 10th grade, that hey, football is his ticket to play Division I, not basketball. But most people think he could have played Division I basketball once again if that would have been something that he'd have wanted to do. And but he was a good athlete. It was fun to watch all of those games.
I know you probably don't get our show down there, but Jim, we've got a picture up of you and Joe. I would assume it's after the national title game with LSU, and you're looking up at him, and the picture just says it all. It's just a wonderful picture. Both of you are beaming, especially you. Hey, Jim, we could go on and on. Thanks so much for this. All the best to you, and thanks for the memories of Montreal, by the way. All the best to you, and all the best to the Bengals and Joe.
Those 5 years were some of the best times of my life. I still have a lot of friends from those 5 years, and it was great. It was fun. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Anytime. Thanks, Jim. We'll get you on again. Thanks so much. All the best.
Bye.